Go ahead. Yeah.
There's an island across the sea, beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai.
That's my home, you know.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's calling,
Yeah.
just calling
I think I'll cry again.
to me.
Because I want to go home.
Beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai.
Aloha. Welcome to Departures to Alpha Centauri, sponsored by the United Galactic Federation of Planets. And we once again welcome Ernie Menehune and Patty Lilly to our program. This is Ambassador of Aloha number 7 over here. Believe it or not, Ernie's been with us. Ernie and Patty have been with us 7 times.
7 times.
Since last fall. And this is our 7th program. And Ernie's going to serenade us with more Hawaiian music. Today is Friday the 13th. This is June 13th, 2014. And this is a Friday the 13th. Yeah. We have a new background, as you folks might notice. We normally use a chroma color screen and have a Hawaiian scene behind us. But tonight, when we got here, the producer that went before us used the trees. Mm-hmm. And Ernie said, hey, let's use trees tonight instead of the chroma color.
We have trees in Hawaii, you know.
Are there really?
All the little Menehunes in the forests over there.
There's not just ferns and flowers.
That's right.
And ironically, Ernie is an expert tree trimmer and tree cutter.
That's right.
And he also, if you guys watched the January show, I think February, he had his tikis here that he cuts out of palm tree trunks and makes tikis, the various types of Polynesian gods. And he even brought in his chainsaw one time and showed us how it works. But Ernie, would you like to continue that song?
Yeah, beautiful Kauai. That's where I'm from, you know. The Garden Island.
The Garden Isle, son of a gun. How did we ever know that?
Yeah.
Well, here we go. We'll continue it. And do
Kauai.
you want to stand up too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mother Nature made her home in the falls of Wailua, where lovers often roam. So I'll return to my isle across the sea, beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai. There's an island across the sea, beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai. And it's calling, just calling to me, beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai. In the midst of her grotto, Mother Nature made her home in the falls of Wailua, where lovers often roam. So I'll return to my isle across the sea, beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai.
All right. Thank you, Ernie.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And for those of you that have been watching the show, Whoop, hold on. You may remember that Ernie is a spry 39 years old,
Around the head.
around the head.
Head, yeah.
What's a head?
No comment.
Okay. Well, just to review the history here,
Yeah, right.
he started singing at age 4 in the bathroom
Oh, yeah.
on Kauai, and you had a big bathroom that had an echo,
Yep.
and so you'd sing your heart out.
See, reverb was never heard of then.
Right, right.
Yeah, it was
Oh yeah, so
See, but those days you had this echo, you know, and
Yeah.
and I liked it. So every time I go in the bathroom and close the door, and to talk, my voice would echo.
yeah,
So I
right.
started singing with the echo. See.
And you had a problem with a neighbor?
Oh yeah, one day I'm singing in the bathroom, and my neighbor was out there, and he said, "Shut up!" You know, and I was singing my head off, and my mother happened to be out cleaning the yard, and she said, "Sing, son, sing."
Sing, son, sing. Oh, that's
Yeah. Well,
That's great.
I kept singing. And I now remember in those days, you respect your elders.
yeah,
My mother told me to sing against my neighbor, who demanded me to stop, and I got stronger because I felt confident then, you know.
There you go. Oh yeah, sure.
Singing against my.
It eliminated your stage fright in
Yeah,
later
right.
years.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
well, that's
right.
neat. And then speaking of stages, you had a pretty good job at one time in
Most
Las
my-
Vegas.
Most of my life.
Most of your life. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I sang all over the country.
Yeah,
And then I got a contract with Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace.
right. And you were the opening act for who?
Oh, I'm 91 now, you know,
Yeah, right.
and half the names I couldn't remember. I'd have to
Well,
backtrack.
can I sit in? Right, Frank,
Frank
the
Sinatra.
Rat Pack,
Yeah. Oh gosh,
Dean Martin,
Dean Martin,
Sammy Davis Jr.,
yeah, Samuel Davis, and
Joey Bishop.
I can't remember. I'm lost now.
How about Liza Minnelli?
Yeah. I knew a lot of women that I opened the shows for with.
Sonny and Cher?
No, not Sonny Cher, but
Oh,
Liberace.
Liberace.
Clark. Petula
Petula
Clark
Clark.
was one of them.
Yeah.
Really? Wow, that's neat.
That's back in the.
There's our phone numbers. And folks, if you are watching and you want to call in, please do. For those of you online who cannot see the phone numbers, I'll read them to you. They are 520, and then the first one is 629-0683, or 629-0708. So you're all welcome to give us a call if you have some questions for Ernie or any subject at all.
Right.
You want to do another song?
Well, I could do. I want to go back to my little grass shack.
Number 4.
I think it's already.
That's the next one up. That's
started
right.
from-
Here we go.
Yeah. Okay.
And you want to stand up again? Whoa.
I wanna go back to my little grass shack in Kealakekua, Hawaii. I wanna be with all the countries and Wahinis that I knew long ago. I can hear the soft guitars playing on the beach at Aloha. I can hear the Hawaiians sing, Aloha mai no kahua I ka halewaga. It won't be long till my ship will be sailing back to Kona. There's a great old place that's always fair to see. I'm just a little Hawaiian, a homesick island boy. I wanna go back to my fishing boy. I wanna go back to my little grass shack in Kealakekua, Hawaii. Where the huma huma nuku nuku wapa I go swimming
That's a
by.
Hawaiian fish, about that long.
Where the huma huma nuku nuku wapa I go swimming by. I wanna go back to my little grass shack in Kealakekua, Hawaii. I wanna be with all the countries and wahinis that I knew long ago. I can hear the soft guitars playing on the beach at Ho'onauna. I can hear the Hawaiians saying, "Hey, come on, man, no kawaii, halevelaka." It won't be long till my ship will be sailing back to Kona. There's a grand old place that's always there to see. I'm just a little Hawaiian, a home-together boy. I wanna go back to my fishing boy. I wanna go back to my little grass shack in Kealakekua, where the huma nuku nuku apua I go swimming by. Where the huma nuku nuku apua I go swimming by.
All right. Fantastic. And just for information's sake, for those that know Hawaii or don't know Hawaii,
Yeah.
you were singing about the other end of the Hawaiian chain. Kealakekua, Hawaii, is not part of Kauai, it's part of the Big Island.
That's right.
It's way the heck down on the east end of the Hawaiian chain,
Uh-huh.
and it's south of Kona, because in that song it talks about his ship will return to Kona, and then he talks too about, the song talks about wahine and kanes. What are those?
Those are people, the men and women.
Aha! Which one is which?
The wahine is a woman.
It is.
Yep.
And what's
And
a
the
kane?
kani is a male.
Aha.
A man.
He's absolutely right. Kane are men, and wahine
Vahine.
are women. And that's one of the curiosities about Hawaii.
And you pronounce your doubles as feet with a feet.
That's right. Certain W's can actually be V's. So most of us locals say wahine instead of wahine.
Yeah.
And if you're ever traveling around on Oahu and you're going to go out to the eastern or the western side of the island,
Kealakekua.
well, that's still on the Big Island.
Okay.
But we have towns called Waianae, which starts with a W. But we also have another town called Halaiwa, but it's spelled with a W.
Yep.
So all you mainlanders would look at the map and say, "Oh, that's Halaiwa," and all of us Hawaiians would laugh at you and say, "No, that's Halaiwa."
Yeah.
In that case, the W is a V. It's kind of like here in Arizona. Now, it took me a long time to figure out how to pronounce saguaro. Saguaro. It's not sagu, it's sawa. The G's here are W's. And if you drive up to Phoenix on I-10 and you go past the Indian Reservation, it's not the Gila Indian Reservation, it's the Gila. In that case, the G is an H, but in the case of saguaro, the G is a W. Is there ever a time in Arizona when the G is a G?
Not really. For example, when I first landed in Los Angeles, I said, he asked me where I was going. I said, I'm going to go. I thought you pronounce your J's, with a J sound, like. I said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to go to Aho. I said, Ajo.
Ajo.
And I said, no, over here you pronounce your J's with sounding like an H. It's Aho.
Aho, right.
Except for January.
Ernie, you have a phone call. Let's catch it. Aloha. Welcome to Departures to Alpha Centauri. Who's this?
Hi, Merlin. This is Dennis. How you doing?
Oh, Dennis. Welcome back. We haven't heard from you in 2 months.
Deborah, your name was?
My name is Merlin.
Yeah, I know you're Merlin, and I know Ernie, and the lady's name is Deborah, right?
Patty.
Patty, I'm sorry.
Patty Lilly.
How are
Right.
you doing tonight?
Good.
We're just great.
Good. I just wanted to say, Ernie, last show when you did your a cappella patriotic songs, I really enjoyed them. They were really nice. They were really good. I enjoyed them.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
wanted to say one other thing to you, Ernie. I'm jealous of your hair. You got more hair than I got.
Yeah, he does. That's true.
Yep, got more hair than me.
Let's see if
I
we can
know,
get a close-up of that hair.
So,
People say,
Turn a little
got
more sideways.
hair than me, Ernie. You're looking real good.
yeah,
You
people.
sounded real good again tonight. And Merlin, like I say, I really enjoy watching Ernie on your show. And I'll keep on watching, and I hope you're on there. And like I told you before, Ernie, I wish you the best, and I'll always remember you, buddy. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. You guys
Mahalo.
have a good night, and hopefully I'll talk to you again.
Okay,
Mahalo.
thanks,
All
Dennis.
right. God bless you.
Aloha.
Thank
Ahui ho. And Dennis brought up a good point. He said that Ernie sang a cappella, which means without accompaniment.
Yeah.
Well, you also plan to sing with your ukulele tonight,
Yes.
right?
I do.
Yes.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Over there. You want me to get it?
Patty, you want to go get it? Sure. That'd be
Sure.
great.
Let me
that would
get
be
on
fun.
attached.
This is from one of Hawaii's greatest.
Yeah. And folks, I'll put that.
I'm not really a musician, but I love to.
What do you mean you're not a musician? You certainly are.
Unattached.
Today,
The title off. There they are.
thank you.
Yeah. Patty's going to get Ernie's ukulele. And here's another fun word. You guys, when you see the word ukulele, you're going to want to pronounce the first U as a hard U, as in ukulele. No, it's ukulele. Think of that first U as two O's. So here's Ernie with an ukulele.
One of the Hawaii's greatest singers.
Right. You
Remember him? Tiny Bubble, Don Ho.
Don Ho, that's right.
Yeah.
You want to stand up again, or are you going to sit
Yeah.
on this one?
Yeah, I think I'll sit on this one.
Okay, sure.
If I was 42, I'd sit up.
42. What does that have to do?
Well, I could.
Oh, half your age.
At my age.
Not even half your age. That's a third of your age.
Now I sit down and play. Sit down and sing.
Right?
I'm
And
one of Hawaii's greatest, Don Ho.
that's right.
And if you can sing along, everybody sing along with me. Tiny bubbles
Tiny bubbles
in the wine
in the wine
make me happy,
makes me happy,
make me feel fine.
makes me feel fine.
Tiny bubbles
Tiny bubbles
make me warm all over,
all over.
with a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. So here's to the golden moon, and here's to the silver sea, and mostly here's a toast to you and me. Tiny bubbles
Tiny bubbles
in the wine
in the wine
make me happy,
makes me happy,
make me funny kind.
makes me funny kind.
Tiny bubbles
Tiny bubbles
make me warm all over, with a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. Ooh, Ali,
ooh ali
Ikawaina,
ikawai now
Aole,
aole
Ikawainu,
ikauna
ooh, Ali,
ooh ali
make me warm all over, with a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. With a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time.
All right, bravo. And before you put that away, let's tell people what this is.
Okay.
And I'm going to hold it up so we can see it more close up. An ukulele has 4 strings. Those of you that are watching from home, whoops, wrong button. Too many buttons here. But in Ernie's case, this is a beauty. Is this a kamaka?
No, it's I don't even know what it is, but anyway, it's electrical.
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah, he
Oh,
does.
yeah.
He has a pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the back. But darn it, too many buttons to push. But as you can see, it has 4 strings. And you've also got some air vents in the front there. That goes into the, yeah.
Yep.
He's got little holes that allow the sound to come out. But these are very common in Hawaii. You can buy them just about any store, and they range in price from like $20 up to
Hundreds
hundreds of thousands.
$100 something.
Well, not 100,000, but yeah, hundreds of dollars, if not in the
Yep.
tens of thousands.
Anybody can. 4 strings, anybody can play one.
Yeah, they're very easy to learn, and they sound just great. And before you know it, you'll have people thinking you're an expert
Yeah, right, yeah.
once you start playing them. But the story behind ukuleles is kind of fun.
The uku.
Ukulele, ilkus.
Yeah.
The word actually means 2 things. Uku is fleas. Ukus are what the kids get in their hair, the lice and fleas.
Right, yeah.
And lele means to fly. Now, if you guys watch my other shows, I talk about, I used to be a pilot, airline pilot, and lele means fly.
Yeah.
And our airline had lots of leles to fly on. But the reason it got that name, back in the late 1800s on the Parker Ranch on the Big Island, they needed cowboys. The Parker people, the Parker owners, needed cowboys to help herd the cattle. The Parker Ranch on the Big Island at one time was the largest privately owned cattle ranch
in the world.
in the world. 250,000 acres, took up a whole big chunk of the Big Island. And the Hawaiians didn't quite pick up on the idea of riding a horse and chasing cows. So Mr. Parker went to Portugal and brought in a whole bunch of Portuguese cowboys. And they called them paniolos, right? And then at night, they would sit around the campfire and they would play their mandolins. Now, a mandolin is similar to an ukulele, except it's got 12 strings.
Yeah.
A lot more strings than an ukulele has. And they're a challenge to play because you have a lot more strings to be dealing with.
Sure is.
And the Hawaiians were just fascinated by these mandolins, the beautiful sound they made. So they decided they wanted something similar. But they didn't want to have 12 strings, they just wanted to have 4 strings. And with 4 strings, you can accomplish what you need to do to get the sound you need. And they didn't want to call it a mandolin. And since when the Portuguese cowboys, the paniolos, would play these mandolins, their fingers would be running up and down the strings and strumming the strings. And the fingers were kind of like flying up and down the strings. And they looked like fleas as they went up and down. Well, uku's flea and lele's flying. So the name for the Hawaiian mandolin became the ukulele. There's your history lesson for tonight.
Well, you well versed on that stuff.
My wife and I took several years of Hawaiian at University of Hawaii.
Did you?
Yes, she has a certificate in Hawaiian culture. We never quite got our degrees because we couldn't get past the Hawaiian language. The Hawaiian language is very difficult.
Yes. Oh,
And
yes.
not to slight the professors, but they tried to anglicize it. And it just doesn't quite work. And even the native Hawaiians from Niihau, from the island just off Kauai, when they would come to the university and listen to our conversations, they'd say, "What are you speaking?" They'd understand some of the words, but in Hawaii, when they speak the language, one word could represent an entire sentence.
That's right.
And the way the Howleys recreated the language, they made it very complex.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know.
That's why
But-
the alphabet is short.
Right.
in Hawaii.
Oh, that's fun too. There's only 12 letters
So,
in the alphabet
yep.
and 2 punctuation marks called an okina and a ko. And what they do is they harden some of the vowels. So sometimes A's are actually an A instead of an A
Yeah.
and other letters. But it is a very simple language in a sense. And every letter gets pronounced. It's not like in German where you got all these extra letters that you don't even hear. But yeah, more fun. Another one? Are you ready?
Well,
Or you want to sit for a second?
I'll sit.
Okay. Well, in that case, since today is Friday the 13th, we need to talk about something. There's your water. And I hate to say this, but history is repeating itself. And it's repeating itself in a very sad way. And I kind of have a part in all this because I am a Vietnam era veteran. My wife and I are both veterans from the Vietnam era. And for those of you that are our age, you may remember that the Vietnam War cost us 55,000 American lives. 55,000 of our people went over there and were killed in Vietnam. And the question is, why?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the war, the North Vietnamese took over, Saigon fell, and it was all a waste. A waste of lives and a waste of resources. And Saigon fell in 1975. Well, I said history's repeating itself. Today is Friday, June 13th. If you folks have been watching the news this week, you may know that Baghdad is about to fall. Now, in the case of Iraq, we luckily have only wasted 5,000 lives, which is a horrible thing to say, instead of 55,000 like Vietnam. But we have also wasted trillions of dollars. And this week, when this supposedly highly trained Iraqi army that we spent all these billions to train confronted an enemy, actually a bunch of freedom fighters, other Iraqis, the Sunnis, they ran away. They took off their uniforms, threw down their guns, and they ran away. Well, all that trillions of dollars was a waste. And the sad part is, our great grandchildren are going to be paying for this war 100 years from now. At least the Vietnam War was pay as you go. In the 1960s, they paid for the war as they fought it. They raised the taxes, but by the end of the war, it was paid for. This war has caused our national debt to rise to $17 trillion. I think that's like $100,000 for every American. And you and I can't pay that. That means our children, maybe our grandchildren, maybe our great-grandchildren are going to be paying for this Iraq and Afghan wars 100 years into the future. And for what? Because Iraq is about to go back to the Sunnis and the Shiites. It's a civil war. Why are we even there? It's a waste of our funds and our people.
Lives.
Yeah.
The resources.
And Afghanistan is the same way. And that brings up a subject. This movie came out a few years ago. Let's see if I can get this in the camera. I love this movie. It's called Charlie Wilson's War. Stars Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. And our condolences to Philip's family, because he just died last month, I think, a month and a half ago. Great actor. But this is an outstanding movie, Charlie Wilson's War. You can get it anywhere in Tucson. And in the movie, it talks about this congressman from Texas named Charlie Wilson. And in 1980, he's sitting in a hot tub in Las Vegas with some strippers, and he's watching a TV set, and what's his name? Was the anchor for CBS for many years.
I have no idea.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Mike Wallace. No, not Mike Wallace.
Walter Cronkite?
No, came after Cronkite. Dan Rather.
Oh,
Dan,
okay.
Oh, Dan Rather.
Dan Rather is in Afghanistan with a couple weeks of beard and a turban on, and he's interviewing these freedom fighters in Afghanistan who were fighting the Soviets. The Soviets had invaded Afghanistan in 1980, and the Mujahideen, the local people, the freedom fighters, were fighting to get the Soviets out of Afghanistan. And the Tom Hanks character, Charlie Wilson, is remarking, what the heck is Dan Rather doing in Afghanistan?
Yeah.
So he goes back to Congress and checks into it and finds out that these local people are fighting the Soviets. They're giving up their lives to try to get their country back. And he finds out that the United States is only giving them like $5 million a year in funds. And he's on one of the appropriations committee. So he immediately doubles it to $10 million. And then as the movie goes on, over the next 10 years, he gets the Saudis to match dollar for dollar everything the United States puts in. And the budget for Afghanistan goes from $5 million to $10 billion. And he almost single-handedly helps them win that war and brings down the Soviet Union. Right after that, the Soviet Union went kapoots and collapsed. But the Afghans kicked Soviets out of Afghanistan. Well, here we are again with history repeating itself. The Mujahideen that we supported in the 1980s became the Taliban. And we've been fighting the Taliban for 11, 12 years now. It's the longest war in American history.
Yeah.
And we're about to leave. We're getting ready to pull all of our people out.
Yep.
And why? Why were we there in the first place? We've lost 3,000 lives, American lives, and we spent more trillions of dollars in Afghanistan. And all that's going to happen is it's going to go back to the Taliban, to the Mujahideen, to the local people, and it was all for waste.
Wow.
So 3 times in history, in the last 60 years, 50 years, America has screwed up really, really bad. Vietnam was a total screw up. Iraq's been a total screw up. Afghanistan's going to be a total screw up. All these lives lost, trillions of dollars wasted, and it's put this country in a staggering debt. Very sad. But today's Friday the 13th. That's the kind of stuff you talk about on Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So let's lighten up the mood and have Ernie sing another song.
Okay.
You want to do number 5?
Let's try it.
Okay.
I think it's a religious.
Oh, well, that's appropriate.
Yeah, very popular religious song.
Oh, great.
I think it is.
Let's see what it is.
Yeah, Kanaka Vai Vai.
Oh, yeah, right. You want to stand up again?
Yeah. Maki Allah hele o Jesus, Ya Allah hai aku vai, meke kanaka o pio hanno hanno, kalanai vai vai. Ani mai e te opio, e hu haku mai hai, e aho e hau, e hana hu vai, iloha e te ola mau pia oe, have lilo, let me walk through paradise with you, Lord. Take my hand and lead me there. All my earthly treasure I'd gladly give. Teach me how to love and how to share. Greed and lust and vanity was mine, Lord, till I found your love divine. On my knees I pray that you will find a way. Let me walk through paradise with you. Let me walk through paradise with you. Let me walk through paradise with you.
you, Ernie.
You're welcome.
And speaking of our fellow citizens, the ones that we've lost, both in Vietnam and in Iraq and in Afghanistan, our hearts go out to the families and also to the survivors. And hopefully, our most recent POW, who just returned to Texas, I think, this week from Germany after being released by the Taliban, will find a better life here and things will be resolved. But that had to be a very traumatic experience to be held as a prisoner for 5 years. And we'll find out more about that. And speaking of the military, as well, and my wife, she is a Vietnam era veteran, and this is a shout out to her. She's watching tonight at the Arizona State Veterans Home over on Aloha and 6th. Moana was on our show back in March and went home to Hawaii and came back, went home to Hawaii and came back. But last month in May, she had some medical problems and ended up in St. Mary's Hospital for a week. And we'd like to thank all the folks at St. Mary's that did a fantastic job of fixing her, getting her back to pretty good condition. And then the Veterans Home down on Aloha and 6 has been taking care of her for the last 2 weeks, and they're doing a great job. She'll probably be released next Wednesday.
Oh, great.
But she can't wait to get home to Hawaii. So we'll be on Hawaiian.
I'll be there on the 24th.
That's right. And Ernie's going over. And is it for?
For a cultural performance after the 4th of July on the island of Kauai.
Right. And you also make your tikis while you're there.
Oh yeah, I
don't you?
make tickets for the
At the shopping center?
for the winners of the prizes that they give away. You know.
Oh wow. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
So lots of excitement, lots of things happening. I might mention too something else that's somewhat distressing. I was watching Jon Stewart last night on The Daily Show. He said there have been 74 school shootings since Sandy Hook, since the shootings in Newtown, Connecticut back at Christmas or December of a year and a half ago. 74 more school shootings. And his point was they're becoming so common that they just mix it in with all the other news, all the fluff. They don't even question why anymore. Well, what on earth is happening? Why are we having all these schools being shot up? And then last weekend, we had a couple in Las Vegas who took on the police department. They walked into a pizza parlor and they assassinated 2 cops that were having lunch. They shot them point blank. And then they went across the street and they shot up a Walmart, and a kind of a hero type guy tried to take on the husband, didn't realize that the wife was also with him, and he approached the husband with his gun in the store, and the wife came up beside him and shot and killed him. And then they ended up having a murder-suicide. Yeah. She shot the husband and then shot herself. But what is it with all this violence in this country? And the crazy part too is that in the United States, there are 30,000 shootings every year, of which 10 to 12,000 die. Well, why? What is going on?
A lot of unrest.
And
A lot of unrest.
something is not normal. Something is very strange in this country, because the next highest number of shootings, the country with the next highest number is Canada. And they have 60 shootings a year. Well, the United States is 500 times that many. And the irony is, in Canada, there are more guns per person than there are in the United States. And that's because in Canada, they hunt. So they need guns. But they only shoot 60 people. Here we go and shoot 30,000 people. And then you look at other countries, I think Germany has 50 shootings, Japan has 40, and down the list. But the United States is way outside the ballpark. Something is happening in this country that is not happening anywhere else in the world. And maybe it has to...
some people have some viewpoints on that. They can call in.
Yes. Anybody want
have
to
anything to
give us a
say?
call?
What do you think, what's going on? Anybody got any opinions on that?
That would be great. The numbers are back up again, and we have 8 minutes left on the show tonight. So yeah, if you guys have an answer to why there are so many shootings in this country,
Got to be some viewpoints out there.
let's hear what they are. Now that brings us back to the name of the show, Departures to Alpha Centauri. Now, this isn't a joke. There may actually be departures starting out of this world. And it has to do with violence and wars and hatred and crime and all the bad stuff that's going on. Maybe our world, and especially the United States, is under attack. Maybe there's some powers and energies at work that we don't understand, that our government and our media, corporations and religions don't want to talk about. But there is a line in Ephesians that says, oh, we have a phone call, that we are at war not with flesh and blood, but against principalities and authorities beyond this world. Let's take the call. Aloha, who's this?
Hi, Merlin. This is Dennis.
Oh, Dennis, you're back.
Yeah, I just want to comment on what you guys were saying. I think, Merlin, one of the big reasons is the breakdown of the family values in the country today. There's no more, real family, and the kids don't learn values. They don't learn, to respect life. And the movies that we show, the video games that they play.
Right.
I
agree.
I think all that has something
All
to do with
violence.
it.
Yeah, it's all about violence.
All about violence.
The last thing that I think is the fact of that, we've got away from religion. We've taken religion out of schools. We've taken religion out of everywhere.
That's it.
And,
Right.
that, in itself
Never thought of that.
is part of the problem, too. You know what I mean?
Dennis, I remember a study that came out about 20 years ago that said that children by the age of 5, if they just watch a normal amount of TV, will see something like 5,000 killings on TV
Yep.
by the time they're 5.
Yep.
Well,
you put a movie on, and before the first 5 minutes go by, 15 people have been killed. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is what the kids are learning. And another thing, Merlin, that I'll say real quick, because I know we're running out of time, is the fact that the government is allowing abortions, and that is showing people that the government agrees in killing. They're setting an example that it's all right to kill an unborn baby, and this is what the kids today are growing up seeing, 50,000 babies aborted in the world and in the United States each year. And if the government is allowing it, saying it's all right, well, that's another thing that I think has influenced the kids today.
yeah, it's tragic.
Yep, it really is.
A very strange world.
All I can say on all that is, a lot of prayer, and God bless the world, and God bless America. That's about all I can say. But like I say,
one of your
video
songs.
games, movies, very bad influence on kids. 3, 4,
I don't have any
5-year-old
more
kids
songs
playing
to
video
do.
games, where all you do is see how many people you can kill. I mean, that one video game they had was, going around, I don't know what the name of it was, to see how many policemen you could kill. Well, look what happened up in Las Vegas, like you were just talking about. You know what I mean?
Well, I know. Terrible.
Yep, it's sad. It's sad that that's the kind of thing that people today take as entertainment. You know what I mean?
Right. And as much as you may not want to hear this, unfortunately, there's a element in our society that's advocating all this stuff.
Yeah.
We have hatred being spewed by the hard right.
Yeah.
They're saying,
yeah. You got white supremacists. You got all sorts of people that are, all sorts of prejudices that, make no sense at all. Hey, we're all children of God. We're all children of God. We're all born from the same Creator, and there's no reason for anybody to have any kind of prejudices towards anybody. I'm not saying everybody's a good person and that you have to like everybody, but it doesn't matter what country they came from, what religion they are, what they wear. You know what I mean?
Or if they have beards.
We're all children of God. God created us all. You know what I'm saying? And that, like I say, the absence of religion in the country today is really hurt. It's really hurt people, and they not only take it away from you, they condemn you for speaking about the Lord. And they've taken it out of everywhere they can. Schools, you can't mention it. I mean, at one time, remember, they tried to take the Pledge of Allegiance out of the school.
Right. But along that line, Bill
All
O'Reilly.
right, guys. Like I say, all we can do is pray. That's all we can do is pray, and that's what I do. Pray for the world every day. And someday, sooner or later, people are going to realize why we're all here and that we're really all the same. We're all children of God.
That's true. Thank you, Dennis.
Take care, guys. Have a good night.
Good night. Yeah, if Bill O'Reilly saw me, he'd say I'm a terrorist. He'd say I'm a Muslim because I've got a beard.
Yeah. But Jesus Christ had a beard.
That's right. And Duck Dynasty, those guys have beards.
Yeah.
Well, Ernie, can you send us off with something? Let me set up these songs and see which one sounds good.
Yeah.
You just did this one. Let's try.
Get ready to change it.
What's this? There we go.
Alava I oi maka au Kona kama kanele ulu Bione kapalina me kaiona Bena kike ala nui
Nakapuera.
Alava I oi maka au Kona kama kanele ulu Bione kapalina me kaiona Bena kike ala nui
Wakapa.
Okapa kona ni akapaina Awale no okapai opua E ka hoa e ka pole na ho Ole le ka ua Alava I oi
We're down to our last, keep going,
Kona kama kanele
to our last 20 seconds. And we'd like to thank you all for tuning in. Please join us again next month on the second Friday. I'm not sure if Ernie will be back from Kauai by then, but I'll be here. And look forward to having you folks back again. So, from Tucson, aloha, and a hui ho. Until next time.